Been a little more than a year since the widespread firings of federal workers. USAID became a symbol of what the Trump administration called government excess. But behind the politics and the promises of efficiency were real people whose careers didn't just change, their lives were upended. Chief investigative reporter Eric Flack spoke with 3 of those former USAID workers still reeling from the impact 1 year later.
Ann Dix spent more than 24 years with USAID Foreign Service.
One of the things that was offered at USAID was we went out to some of the hardest places to work and tried to bring hope.
USAID was the federal government's lead agency for foreign aid, funding programs in global health, disaster response, and economic development, a critical tool, many believed, of U.S. influence abroad. But critics pushing to cut government spending.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
Okay, that's a big one.
Including President Trump and then Department of Government Efficiency head Elon Musk argued the agency had become too costly and not accountable enough. The administration fired nearly all USAID workers.
To just see it treated like it was a bunch of trash and tossed out the window, it was very disappointing and sad.
And professionally, what do you do when your career is just ripped out from under you?
Exactly. What do you do?
Yes, I was shocked.
Bill Hall had no idea.
Yeah, of all the things I thought that could have happened to me, USAID dissolving was not one of them.
Hall joined USAID after 4 years in the Peace Corps, the economist eventually overseeing a $60 million development portfolio in Kazakhstan.
It was horrible. A foreign service officer it's a commitment, it's a lifestyle. I led with my job. I absolutely loved it, and that was gone.
He thought he would land on his feet quickly.
When it first happened, it was like, all right, no problem. I'm going to dust off my resume and get a job. And it didn't happen.
Instead, he took work where he could.
I worked for a guy, I met him at a bar. He was the guy who cleaned their beer lines. He was going to mentor me up, and I was going to kind of start my own business doing draft beer systems.
For Ann Dix, the transition has meant stepping away, now caring for her family after a career spent abroad.
Stunningly unbelievable. I can't believe that the United States could change its foreign policy so drastically overnight.
Yeah, what's our goal? Our goal is to find the area of...
And today, Bill Hall is teaching high school math.
The hypotenuse is what side?
Still trying to rebuild a sense of purpose and still waiting.
Perfect, that's good.
On a pension promised after his years of service at the State Department.
My pension's supposed to be like $7,000 or $8,000 a month. I mean, I had a great pension.
You're still waiting on that?
I haven't got a dime. If I didn't have my wife or this or that, I would have gone bankrupt.
A State Department spokesperson told WUSA 9 it has processed over 94% of the former agency's retirements. And they said while they cannot comment on specific cases due to privacy laws, they continue working to give the utmost attention to processing retirement cases of USAID after the agency ceased operations. And while Hall says he lost a career, he believes the U.S. has sacrificed much more.
I believe USAID was one of our instruments of national power. It made us more safer, more secure, more prosperous. I believe that very much. I'm sad that that function is gone.
It's kind of like you're watching the decline of a great power, and it's sad. It really is sad to see that.
But the Trump administration pointed to a long list of alleged spending that fueled this backlash, citing USAID grants for a DEI musical in Ireland, a transgender opera in Colombia, among examples critics called wasteful and unaccountable spending. Defenders of the shutdown say those are the reasons the agency needed to go. Eric Flack, WUSA 9.
Government watchdogs said that they also documented USAID funding going to organizations with ties to designated terrorist groups. USAID workers contended any improper use of funding was extremely isolated. Well, for more than a year now, we have worked to support federal workers with our streaming show, Federal Workforce Fallout. We share resources and dig deeper into the long-term impacts on our community. And a reminder that you can stream new episodes every Monday at 7 p.m. and on your schedule after that.